So this is my reflection to the first video that I did in class. And I had done a lesson on art, looking at the three different kinds of art within the classical, medieval, and Renaissance time period. And so just sitting reflecting back on them, one thing I think I could have done differently is when I started the lesson, I went straight into the do now, which I think I was nervous about doing the lesson because typically when I start my lessons or start the morning, I always go to the word of the day. And so I explain the word of the day to the kids so that they know what the word of the day is. But during the lesson, I noticed I actually started with explaining the do now, and then I was like, oh no, I forgot to do the word of the day, and then I did the word of the day. So I definitely need to remember to stick with the pattern of do now is, or the word of the day is first, explaining the word of the day, understanding the definition, and then transition into the do now. So that was just kind of like a little blurb on my part that was not so smooth, but I just need to remember to do the word of the day first. So then when I kind of got into the lesson, overall I think it went really well. I think the objective, when I did the objective, I was trying to get feedback from them. I did the lesson, I think it was on a Monday, and my kids are half asleep on Monday, and I always struggle with Mondays, but I knew I had to get it there. So I was trying to engage the students a little bit more by asking them, hey, who remembers what the two time periods before the Renaissance was? And I should have just stated, the objective of the lesson is to identify the characteristics from classical art, medieval art, and Renaissance art. And I should have just stated it clear instead of trying to get information from the students and engage them. And then I actually should have put it on the board. I did have it projected on part of the PowerPoint, and the students had it on their tables, but I think I should have written it. I like using multi-forms in the classroom just because of the type of learner I have. So that's another observation. One thing I noticed that I say a lot, which I really need to stop because it's annoying, is I'm like, do you get it? I should not do that. That's that, no. I think I do that. In addition, I think I have like pause words that I use. Yeah, those need to go away because those are super annoying as well. So just kind of reflecting on that is I did not know that I was even doing that until I watched the lesson. The lesson I think went pretty darn well. I like how I had my groups already identified. I'm a big fan of pulling the random generator sticks and also holding the kids to responsibility. If they don't know the answer, they can football pass it off to somebody else, but then they have to reflect what the person says so I know that they're listening. I think that's always a great skill to incorporate into a lesson and into classroom teaching. Finally, let's see. We did the Kahoot at the end, and I personally love the Kahoot. It really engages them, and the kids were so passionate, and they actually were looking back at their notes and really involved in the Kahoot, which I thought was fun. On a side note, 2 days after the lesson, we ended up going on a field trip to an Egyptian museum, which was content that the students had learned the year previous. And 2 of the girls came up to me and asked where the School of Athens was and that they wanted to see Renaissance artwork. So I was kind of proud that they actually were thinking that, they wanted to see this kind of art. They actually tried to apply it into a museum. I guess we needed to make it clear we were looking at Egyptian artifacts and not the Renaissance, and we were not in Florence, and they did not take the School of Athens with us to San Jose, California. Anyways, that is my reflection, and I think it went pretty well. I really do. So I would love to know your comments. Thanks. Bye.